Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we find the hidden drama in the numbers. So Seaport Entertainment Group is here to tell us about their recent performance, and let's just say things are getting interesting, or maybe just regular. And before we dive in, if you dig these unfiltered looks into company filings, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our growing Discord community for even more insights. Alright, so what we have here is a Form 8K, which is basically a company's way of telling the stock market about important things that have happened, usually pretty quickly. Think of it as a company's news flash, and Seaport Entertainment Group is dropping one today, August 11th, 2025. This filing is about Seaport Entertainment Group Inc., and it's focused on their financial results for the quarter that ended on June 30th, 2025. Basically, they're sharing how they did in the spring. Now, Seaport Entertainment is traded on the NYSE under the ticker symbol SEG. So if you're a shareholder, this is the kind of document you'd want to keep an eye on. It also tells us that Seaport Entertainment is considered an emerging growth company. This means they get to follow slightly simpler rules for reporting compared to bigger, older companies. They've also opted out of some of the newer accounting rules, which means they're sticking with the older ones for now. The main event in this filing is all about their results of operations and financial condition. What does that mean? It means they're telling us how much money they made, how much they spent, and how healthy their finances are. So on August 11th, Seaport Entertainment dropped an earnings press release. This is where they brag about their wins or explain their losses. And they also released a supplemental disclosure package. Think of this as their show and tell for investors. These documents, especially the press release, are where we'll find the juicy financial details. Here it is, the actual earnings press release from August 11th. This is the treasure chest of numbers we want to crack open. And this is the accompanying package. It might contain charts, graphs, or more detailed explanations that didn't fit in the press release. Now let's get to the good stuff, the financials. These are the numbers that tell the real story of what's happening at Seaport Entertainment. While this report doesn't contain extensive tables directly within the 8K narrative itself, it points to the attached exhibits 99.1 and 99.2, which are the earnings press release and supplemental disclosure package. These are where the actual financial data for the quarter ended June 30, 2025 would be detailed. Typically, in an earnings release like this, we'd be looking for key metrics. For a company in entertainment, you'd want to see revenue streams like ticket sales, streaming subscriptions, advertising income, or merchandise sales. You'd also look at gross profit, which is what they have left after paying for the direct costs of producing their entertainment. Operating income is also crucial. This shows us how much profit the company is making from its core business operations before considering things like interest payments and taxes. And of course, net income, the bottom line, that's the money left over after all expenses, taxes, and interest are paid. When we analyze these numbers, we're looking for trends. Did revenue grow compared to the same period last year? If revenue is up, is it because they sold more tickets or because they raised prices? Are their costs growing faster than their revenue? That would be a red flag. For example, if their cost of producing shows like paying actors or licensing content went up by 10% but their revenue only increased by 5%, that's a squeeze on their profits. We also want to see how they're managing their expenses. Are their marketing costs spiraling, or are they effectively reaching new customers? What about their general and administrative costs? Like salaries for executives and office staff, are these in line with the company's size and revenue? Another important aspect is their cash flow. A company can report profits, but if they aren't generating actual cash, they can still get into trouble. We'd be looking at their operating cash flow to see if their day-to-day business activities are bringing in cash. Let's imagine, for instance, the press release mentions a 20% increase in revenue. That sounds great. But if that's driven by a huge increase in marketing spend that outweighs the revenue gain, or if it's due to aggressive accounting practices, then it's not as rosy as it seems. Why not? It's improving over time. So we're trying to see if Seaport Entertainment's economics of a business and whether it's improving over time. So we're trying to see if Seaport Entertainment's economics are truly getting better. Given this is an 8K, the focus is on sharing new material information. So the press release and supplemental package are the primary sources for the financial story. We'd be dissecting those for any significant changes in revenue, profit margins, or any forward-looking statements about future performance. For example, if they reported a 15% drop in attendance at their live events, but their revenue only fell by 5%, it might suggest they've compensated with higher ticket prices. That's a strategy that can work in the short term, but it could alienate customers if it continues for too long. We'd want to understand the underlying reason for that attendance drop. Is it competition, a bad economy, or a shift in consumer preferences? It's also important to consider the industry context. How are other entertainment companies performing? Are they facing similar challenges, or is Seaport Entertainment an outlier? If the whole sector is struggling with declining viewership, then Seaport's performance might be viewed in a more forgiving light. But if their competitors are thriving, then we need to ask why Seaport isn't keeping pace. Looking at the structure of the filing, we have the company details, the filing date, and then the core information about the event, which is the earnings release. The exhibits attached are what really matter for the financial narrative. And here we have the signature signed by Lucy Fato, who holds a very important role as EVP, General Counsel and Corporate Secretary. This signature signifies that the company is officially submitting this report. So, what's my take on Seaport Entertainment Group based on this filing? Well, without seeing the actual numbers in Exhibits 99.1 and 99.2, it's hard to give a definitive assessment. However, what this filing tells us is that they are actively communicating their financial performance. The fact that they are an emerging growth company and have opted out of extended transition periods suggests they are trying to manage their reporting and compliance in a way that's perhaps more streamlined. The key risks for any entertainment company revolve around consumer spending, changing tastes, and the cost of content. If their financials show a weakening in any of these areas, that's a significant concern. On the flip side, if they've managed to grow their revenue and profits while controlling costs, it indicates a well-run operation with a strong market position. A notable opportunity often lies in leveraging new technologies or platforms to reach wider audiences or create new revenue streams. If their supplemental disclosure highlights innovation in these areas, that could be a positive sign. My overall conclusion from this particular filing is that it's a standard report of financial results. The real story, the strengths, weaknesses, and the core financial numbers are found within the attached press release and disclosure package. We'd need to see those numbers to truly judge the company's health and future prospects. Are they growing, shrinking, or just treading water? That all comes down to the details in those exhibits. Alright, that's our breakdown of this Seaport Entertainment Group filing. What's your take on company disclosures like these and what they signal for the future of the entertainment industry? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps us out, and subscribe for more in-depth dives into corporate filings. And don't forget to check out the Discord link in the description to join the conversation. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.